The room is dark, but the mind is loud. A man lies awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling. He isn't tired, he's exhausted. But rest won't come. His body is still. His thoughts are not. They loop. Regret, stress, fear, tomorrow's demands, yesterday's mistakes. His breath is shallow, his jaw tight. He turns to his side, then back, then to the other. Still no sleep. You want peace, but your mind won't shut off. There's nothing more frustrating than knowing you need rest and not being able to find it. The bed is soft. The lights are off. Everything looks calm. But inside there is noise. This is not just about sleep. It's about stillness. You're not just tired. You are restless. And that restlessness is costing you more than you know. Lack of sleep is not just physical. It drains the soul. It dulls the spirit. It clouds the mind. You begin to forget what clarity feels like, what it means to wake up with energy, what it feels like to truly live in your own body. Sleep is not a luxury. It is a foundation. And when the foundation is cracked, everything on top begins to shift. You can't think straight. Your words stumble. Your decisions lack precision. You snap at people you love. You overeat. You underperform. You feel like a stranger to yourself. And still, you keep pushing. You tell yourself you don't have time to sleep. But the truth is, you don't have time not to. A man who is sleep-deprived is a man walking through fog. His vision is blurred. His senses dulled. He reaches for coffee, sugar, stimulants, anything to keep the engine running. But the engine is breaking down because the body is not a machine. It's a living system. It needs rhythm. It needs recovery. It needs stillness. You don't sleep well because your life is out of sync. You don't rest at night because you don't live with discipline by day. You scroll late into the night, chasing pleasure that leaves you emptier than before. You lie to yourself, just 5 more minutes, just one more video, one more message, one more dopamine hit. And now it's 3:04 a.m. You're still awake. The Stoics believe that peace is not found in escape, but in alignment. The reason you can't sleep is not because of the mattress or the noise outside. It's because your mind is not at peace with itself. You're carrying unfinished thoughts, unmade decisions, guilt from wasted days, anxiety about days to come. Your sleep suffers because your soul is cluttered. The body sleeps when it feels safe. But how can it feel safe when your thoughts are chaotic, when your life is disordered, when you live every day reacting, not choosing? We think of sleep as passive, as a reward after the work is done. But sleep is part of the work. It is the reset that allows strength to return. It is the dark space where the mind restores itself, where muscles repair, where hormones rebalance. Sleep is not laziness, it is discipline. To protect it is to protect your clarity. Think of a soldier before battle. If he hasn't slept, he's vulnerable, slow to react, poor in judgment, weak in spirit. Sleep is your armor, and every time you trade it for distraction, you leave yourself exposed. Your mental sharpness fades. Your emotions become volatile. Your self-control slips. That's when you spiral. You reach for things you don't need. You say things you don't mean. You make choices that cost you days, weeks, or even years. All because you didn't sleep. All because you never built a boundary around your nights. There's nothing noble about being tired. There's nothing strong about working through exhaustion. Real strength is not just about pushing hard. It's about knowing when to stop, when to recover, when to protect the most basic building blocks of your life. Sleep is not weakness. It's wisdom. And yet, most people sabotage it every night. They lie down with their phones in hand, their minds plugged into noise. They go to bed late, wake up tired, and repeat the cycle, all while complaining about stress, about burnout, about lack of motivation. The answer is simple. Not easy, but simple. You must rebuild your relationship with the night. Before sleep comes stillness. Before stillness comes order. You need rhythm, a ritual, a slow wind down that tells your mind, it's safe now. Let go. Turn off the screens. Dim the lights. Sit with silence. Write your thoughts down. Reflect. Don't just fall asleep. Return to sleep like it's a place of strength. Because it is. The man in the bed at 3 a.m. is not broken. He is simply disconnected from rhythm, from peace, from discipline. His mind has forgotten how to rest, but can remember. Start small. No phone 1 hour before bed. No caffeine afternoon. A set bedtime. A cool, dark room. These are not rules. They're self-respect. You train your body to trust the night again. You train your mind to stop clinging. You don't force sleep. You invite it by creating space for it to arrive. You do this not just for rest, but for life. Because you're not fully alive if you're half awake. And you cannot lead others, build a life, or grow strong if you are crumbling inside. Let others glorify hustle. Let others stay up all night. You, instead, will protect your mind like a warrior protects his blade. You will sleep early. You will rise clear. You will build, not from chaos, but from calm. The man in the dark room finally closes his eyes. His breath slows. His mind lets go. Not because the world became quiet, but because he did. He chose stillness. And with it, peace returned. That is the beginning of strength. That is the start of a happier life. Sleep is not the absence of effort. It is the preparation for it. So if you want to be sharp, sleep. If you want to be clear, sleep. If you want to be strong, sleep. And if you want to be free, sleep. Because true power doesn't come from how long you can stay awake. It comes from how deeply you can rest. In the silence, in the dark, in the discipline of sleep. That's where happiness begins. You think you're just tired, but you're more than tired. You're unclear. You're reactive. You're losing yourself, one restless night at a time. Every night you sleep poorly, you don't just wake up groggy, you wake up diminished. Not just in body, but in mind, in will, in spirit. You move slower. You think less clearly. You feel less certain, less capable, less grounded. You try to push through. You think you can outwork it, outthink it, out-caffeinate it. But you can't. Because poor sleep isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's a silent erosion. It's slow decay. And the worst part? You get used to it. You forget what it's like to feel alive. You lose your sharpness. You lose your presence. You lose the ability to sit still and feel power in silence. Your eyes are open, but you're not awake. You're drifting. You're impulsive. You're on edge. One moment, you feel numb. The next, irritated. You snap for no reason. You say things you didn't mean. You forget why you walked into a room. You keep rereading the same line. You scroll to escape the discomfort, but it only deepens it. Sleep debt is cumulative. Every bad night compounds. What you didn't repair yesterday weighs you down today, and the weight grows heavier. And in this state, what do most people do? They chase shortcuts. More coffee, more sugar, more noise, more distractions. They push harder while falling apart. But you can't outrun exhaustion. It lives inside your bones, inside your thoughts, inside your ability to choose what's right over what's easy. Willpower doesn't die suddenly. It fades, quietly. With every night, you stay up past your limit. With every morning you press snooze because you didn't respect your night. And once willpower fades, discipline crumbles. And once discipline crumbles, freedom vanishes. A man who lacks sleep is a man who lacks control. He's less patient, less creative, less resilient. He says yes to what he should resist. He avoids what he should face. He gives in. He gives up. And yet, society treats sleep like a luxury, as if it's optional, as if it's something you earn after everything else is done. But the Stoics knew better. Marcus Aurelius rose early. Seneca spoke of rhythm, moderation, simplicity. They didn't glorify exhaustion. They respected alignment. The mind cannot lead if the body is broken. You think being awake longer will make you more productive. But when you sacrifice sleep, your productivity becomes clumsy. You work more hours and accomplish less. You confuse movement with progress. You're busy, but not intentional. Active, but not effective. And over time, your lack of sleep rewires you. You begin to forget what calm feels like. You start thinking that chaos is your natural state. You stop noticing how on edge you are. You become used to discomfort, not the kind that builds you, but the kind that breaks you slowly. Even your face changes. Your posture, your voice. You're not fully here. You're running on fumes. And that fatigue spills into everything. Your relationships suffer. Your work suffers. Your ability to think clearly, to stand firm when things go wrong, disappears. Sleep is not a reward. It's maintenance. It's strategy. It's power. A warrior trains hard, but he also rests hard. He sleeps with discipline so he can fight with clarity. Poor sleep weakens the mind just as much as it weakens the body. It dulls your reasoning. It magnifies fear. You make mountains out of small things because your brain can no longer regulate perspective. What could have been solved in 10 minutes now ruins your whole day, and you don't even realize why. Your emotions swing like a pendulum. You feel drained before the day even begins. Your workouts suffer. Your hunger spikes. You crave junk food. You lose your edge. Slowly, quietly, your life becomes something reactive, not built, not chosen, just tolerated. And the lie most people tell themselves is this: I'll catch up on sleep later. But there is no catching up. Lost sleep is lost power, lost focus, lost time, and time is the one thing you can't get back. So you must change how you see it. Sleep is not something to squeeze in after the grind. It is part of the grind. Sleep is the preparation for excellence. It's what separates those who move with clarity from those who stumble through the day. A tired man can't meditate. He can't plan. He can't reflect. He can't lead. He can barely listen. His potential is buried under exhaustion. And yet, it doesn't have to be this way. You can take your power back, not by doing more, but by doing less and doing it better. By drawing a hard line at night. By protecting your rest like a king protects his kingdom. No screens in the last hour. No mindless scrolling. No mental clutter. You calm the body. You slow the breath. You dim the light. You write down your thoughts. You say no to what doesn't serve your morning. And by doing so, you say yes to everything that does. This is self-respect. This is self-mastery. This is what it means to live well, not just exist. You don't need pills or hacks. You need rhythm. You need stillness. You need a life that allows you to rest without guilt. And that begins with perspective. You must understand, there is no strength without sleep. There is no wisdom without sleep. There is no joy, no patience, no presence without sleep. A Stoic doesn't wait until his body collapses to take action. He moves with foresight. He honors his limits. Not to be soft, but to remain sharp. Not to indulge, but to endure. Every time you go to bed on time, you make a quiet declaration. I am building something. I am not wasting myself for distractions. I am preserving my edge. You sleep not to escape the day, but to win the next one. Let others brag about how little they sleep. Let them wear their exhaustion like a badge. You, rest like a warrior, so you can rise like one. Because the hidden cost of poor sleep is not just fatigue. It's your potential slipping away night by night. Guard your night. Honor your rest. Reclaim your clarity. Live with strength. Sleep is not the enemy of ambition. It is the foundation of it. Demander, ChatGPT. It's 1:47 a.m. You're still awake. Eyes dry. Mind racing. You're not moving, but you're not resting either. You're stuck in between, heavy with fatigue, yet wired with noise. You stare at the ceiling, then back at your phone, then into the dark. Again and again. You say you're tired, but the truth is you're overstimulated, distracted, fractured, not by life, but by the illusions you invited into your life. It starts simple. You say you'll just check one thing, one message, one video, one scroll, but you don't stop. Your thumb keeps moving faster than your mind can process. Before you realize it, minutes have turned into hours. Reality fades. Time slips. Your body begs for rest, but your mind refuses to settle. You're not awake because you want to be. You're awake because you're overstimulated and underdisciplined. You fed your brain chaos, and now you expect peace? You spent your evening drowning in screens, in noise, in the constant buzz of meaningless stimulation. And now you want silence? Now you want stillness? It doesn't work like that. The mind demands order. It needs rhythm. It needs time to settle, not more input, not more noise. And yet, every night, you flood it with more than it was designed to handle. Images, sounds, stories, endless comparisons, regrets, temptations, false urgency. You give your attention away for free, and by the time you ask for it back, it's gone. You don't just scroll through content. Content scrolls through you. It rewires your nervous system. It hijacks your thoughts. It breaks your focus into fragments. Your dopamine is drained. Your discipline is scattered. And your body is caught in the storm. You didn't build your night with intention. You just let it happen. You let yourself be pulled into the black hole of one more thing. One more video. One more message. One more cheap hit of dopamine. But this isn't rest. This is self-abandonment. You've made your nights an escape, not a ritual. Instead of releasing the day, you carry it into the dark with you. The regrets, the noise, the failures you didn't face, the tasks you avoided, the promises you broke. All of it follows you into the night, and your mind, now full, now frantic, has nowhere to place it. It spins, it loops, it replays everything you didn't process in the light. And now, the night feels heavier than the day ever did. You can't sleep because your soul is unsettled, because you're not proud of how you used your time, because deep down, you know you ran from the hard things. You escaped into distraction. You traded purpose for pleasure. You didn't build anything. You just avoided the discomfort of building. That's what haunts you. It's not the phone. It's not the screen. It's not the content. It's what it represents: avoidance, weakness, noise. And noise is the enemy of peace. You want sleep? You want silence? You want clarity? Then stop feeding yourself chaos. There is no calm at night without discipline during the day. There is no silence without structure, no rest without order. The body doesn't just shut down. It listens. It obeys the rhythms you set. If your rhythm is addiction, don't expect peace. If your rhythm is escapism, don't expect rest. You think you're lying in bed, but you're not. You're still online, in your mind, in your habits, in your unresolved thoughts. Your body is still, but your spirit is running, away from responsibility, away from structure, away from the quiet that reveals the truth. So you scroll. You scroll because you're afraid of the silence. You scroll because you can't sit with yourself. You scroll because silence means facing what you didn't do, what you avoided, what you ran from. And that truth is heavy, but you can't bury it. Not forever. Eventually, it surfaces right here at night, in the dark, when there are no distractions left to run to. You toss your phone aside, frustrated, angry, not just at the screen, but at yourself. Because part of you knows this isn't how it's meant to be. Part of you remembers a different rhythm, a stronger one, a life with structure, with limits, with presence. The Stoics didn't fear the night. They welcomed it, because their days were full of intention. They didn't waste energy on noise. They didn't drown in excess. They did what mattered and let the rest fall away. That's why they could sleep with ease. Their conscience was clean. Their mind was clear. Their habits were aligned. You're not tired because you work too hard. You're tired because you're misaligned. Your sleep is broken because your discipline is broken. You want better nights? Then live better days. You want a quiet mind? Then build a strong will. You want to rest in peace? Then act in purpose. This means creating boundaries. Hard ones. It means choosing simplicity over stimulation, silence over noise, stillness over motion. It means protecting the last hour of your day like your life depends on it, because it does. That's when you unwind. That's when you release. That's when you slow everything down. You read. You stretch. You breathe. You reflect. You unplug. No more input. No more chasing. No more noise. You give your nervous system a chance to land. You give your mind permission to stop running. You give your soul space to be still. This is a sacred ritual. It's not soft. It's strong. Because real strength is structure. Real discipline is direction. Real peace is earned. You can't live like a child all day, chasing pleasure, running from responsibility, and expect to rest like a warrior at night. That's not how it works. Your body knows the truth, and the truth is simple. You can't sleep because you've made distraction your religion, but you can change that. Tonight, you can draw the line. You can reclaim your rhythm. You can restore the sacred space that sleep was meant to be. Because sleep is an escape. It's recovery. It's clarity. It's power. If you treat it with respect, it will give you back your strength. But if you continue to abandon yourself in the dark, Don't be surprised when the day feels impossible. You want peace? Then stop poisoning your mind before bed. You want clarity? Then stop feeding yourself confusion every night. You want energy? Then protect your rest like a warrior protects his edge. The screen doesn't own you. The scroll doesn't own you. The habit doesn't define you. You can let it go. Right now. Tonight. Put the phone down. Let the thoughts pass. Sit in the silence. And breathe. You don't need more noise. You need order. You don't need more pleasure. You need peace. You don't need to escape. You need to return to discipline, to presence, to the life you were meant to lead. It all begins with one decision. Honor your rest. Discipline your night. And the day will follow. Because until you learn to calm your mind, you will never sleep like a free man. Demander, ChatGPT. Sleep isn't just something that happens. It's something you build. You don't stumble into deep rest. You craft it deliberately, brick by brick, hour by hour. Sleep, like strength, like focus, like clarity, is not an accident. It is a result, the fruit of rhythm, of restraint, of discipline. If you treat it casually, it slips through your fingers. If you treat it with intention, it becomes a tool, one of the strongest you have. We've been taught to see sleep as passive, something that just comes to you at the end of the day. But a disciplined man knows better. He knows that good sleep starts long before the head hits the pillow. It starts in the morning with sunlight, movement, hydration, and direction. It starts with action, with structure, with momentum. A strong morning tells your body, we are alive, we are focused, we are moving forward. And just as it starts with intention, it ends with it too. Sleep doesn't begin when you close your eyes. It begins hours earlier, when you start pulling away from stimulation, when you reduce inputs, when you create stillness, not just around you, but inside of you. A disciplined night is one with a closing rhythm. Screens go dark. The body winds down. Light dims. Tasks are closed. Reflections are made. The mind is cleared, not with more information, but with less. Less noise, less scrolling, less chasing. Because when the sun goes down, your nervous system should too. You're not built for constant tension. You're not built for infinite distraction. The body is a vessel. It needs to reset, to restore, to recharge. But here's the problem. Most people sabotage this rhythm. They act like nighttime is a break from discipline, a license to indulge, to escape, to reward themselves for surviving another day. They flood themselves with food, noise, blue light, cheap dopamine, and then wonder why sleep doesn't come. But sleep is not the reward for indulgence. It is the reward for alignment. Your body doesn't care how tired you are. It responds to rhythm, or the lack of it. No amount of exhaustion can overpower chaos. You must choose discipline every single day, especially at night. The Stoics understood this deeply. They lived in rhythm. They rose with the sun. They trained the body. They trained the mind. They simplified their evenings. They didn't overstimulate. They didn't waste time chasing distractions. They made space for reflection, for stillness, for restoration, because the body obeys the mind, and the mind obeys the rhythm you set. Modern life has confused us. We've been sold the lie that discipline ends when the workday ends. But in truth, your most important hours are the final ones, because that is when the body either rebuilds or breaks. Without rhythm, you drift. Without order, you decay. Without structure, you weaken. A man who cannot control his evening cannot control his life. Because your evening shapes your next morning. Your morning shapes your direction. And your direction shapes everything. It's a cycle. A weak evening leads to a slow morning. A slow morning leads to a reactive day. A reactive day leads to mental chaos. And that chaos doesn't disappear. It builds. It accumulates. It crashes down on you the moment you try to rest again. Discipline breaks this cycle. Discipline is the conscious decision to create order, even when it's inconvenient. To simplify, even when you're tempted to complicate. To unplug, even when the world demands more input. Discipline is turning the lights off early. It's saying no to just one more video. It's placing your phone out of reach. It's preparing your room like it's a sacred place, because it is. Your bedroom isn't a playground. It's not an entertainment center. It's not your second office. It is your sanctuary, a place of silence, of stillness, of surrender. Treat it like that. Make your bed in the morning, and your body will remember peace at night. Limit noise throughout the day, and your mind will stop screaming when the lights go off. This is the truth you already know. Peace is a product of structure. Stillness is born from simplicity. Sleep is the fruit of discipline. The deeper your structure, the deeper your rest. But if you spend your day chasing pleasure, avoiding responsibility, ignoring your limits, don't expect your body to cooperate when it's time to lie down. You haven't earned peace. You've fed chaos. You've made rest impossible. You can't outrun a life lived without rhythm. There's a reason soldiers, monks, high performers, people who master themselves, all protect their sleep. Because they know, without it, your edge dulls. Your mind clouds. Your will weakens. Your clarity fades. Sleep is not separate from discipline. It is the final expression of it. You don't sleep well because you deserve it. You sleep well because your body trusts you. Because your body feels safe. Because your body knows that this is a life of order, not disorder. It remembers. When you live with intention, your body responds. Your nervous system calms. Your thoughts clear. Your breath slows. Your muscles loosen. Because your system knows it is time to restore. That kind of sleep, deep, calm, uninterrupted, is not reserved for the lucky. It is reserved for the disciplined. So ask yourself, how do you treat your final hour? Is it chaotic, loud, unstructured, or is it clean, minimalist, prepared? Do you fall into bed, or do you prepare for sleep like a warrior prepares for battle, with awareness, clarity, and routine? Discipline in the evening doesn't mean rigidity. It means design. It means simplicity. It means you don't bring the day into the dark. You don't carry unfinished tasks, unresolved emotions, and constant input into the sacred space of your rest. You close the loops. You write down what's unfinished. You forgive what's heavy. You leave the rest behind, and you enter your rest clean, quiet, ready. That is the discipline of sleep. Not force, not control, not effort, but rhythm, pattern, surrender through design. Remember what Epictetus said. Control your perceptions. Direct your actions properly. Willingly accept what's beyond your control. Sleep is all three. You control the input, what you consume. You direct the action when you power down. And you surrender to rest, knowing it's not in your hands once the work is done. That's the paradox of sleep. It's built through action and received through surrender. But that surrender is only earned through discipline. So don't ask, why can't I sleep? Ask, what am I doing with my last hour? Don't say, I'm tired. Say, I'm unstructured. Because tiredness without rest is not the problem. Undisciplined rhythms are. The cure is simple. Rise with structure, live with clarity, end with rhythm, and let sleep return, not as an escape, but as a reward. You don't need a pill. You don't need a guru. You don't need a miracle. You need discipline, the kind that honors your body, the kind that protects your peace, the kind that prepares the ground so your rest can take root. You're not a machine. You're not a screen. You're a human being, and your rest is sacred. Treat it that way, and the silence you've been chasing, it will find you, in the dark, when you finally live with enough structure to let go. Demander, ChatGPT. Night is not a pause. It's not a break. It's not weakness. It is the most strategic window you have. When the world goes quiet, your body gets to work. Sleep is not passive. It's a process, sacred, complex, and intelligent. This is where rebuilding happens. Not just in your muscles, but in your mind, your hormones, your focus, your drive. Every decision you make the next day is shaped by what happens in the dark. Nighttime isn't for the lazy. It's for the disciplined. The ones who understand that restoration is not a retreat from work, it is the work. Look at the body. While you sleep, it doesn't rest. It rebuilds. Cells repair. Muscles grow. Your immune system strengthens. Testosterone resets. Growth hormone spikes. All the fuel you burn during the day. All the breakdowns that come from effort, stress, movement, and strain. They're not the problem. They're the invitation. The problem is not recovering from them. And that recovery only happens in deep, undisturbed sleep. This is where real strength forms. Not in the gym, not in the hustle, not in the grind, but in the silent hours after. You don't grow while you train. You grow when you rest. And yet most men sabotage it. They trade their night for noise. They stay up scrolling. They binge. They consume. And they call it freedom. But there's no freedom in exhaustion. There's no wisdom in burning the candle until the wax disappears. You aren't a machine. You aren't built for 24/7 output. You are built for rhythm, cycles, recovery. You aren't lazy for sleeping. You're smart. A man who protects his sleep is not soft. He's strategic because he knows that the man who wakes up with full clarity, full energy, full presence, he wins. He sees clearer. He thinks sharper. He reacts slower because he's grounded. He acts faster because he's aligned. His body obeys. His mind follows. His spirit leads. And all of that begins in the night, while the world is off chasing cheap dopamine, while others are still checking updates, chasing notifications, killing hours they'll never get back. The disciplined man has already surrendered, not to weakness, not to laziness, but to the silent power of recovery. This is the reset the modern world resists. We've been trained to glorify the nonstop, to romanticize the hustle, to worship the grind. But the Stoics knew better. They didn't confuse rest with weakness. They saw sleep as an essential part of self-mastery. To be sharp in the day, you must surrender to the dark. Your muscles? They don't care how hard you trained. They care how well you recover. Your hormones? They don't respond to willpower. They respond to rhythm. Your thoughts? They won't organize themselves. They need stillness, deep REM, undisturbed time. Every system in your body, everyone, relies on sleep to function fully. Cognitive function, emotional regulation, memory consolidation, creativity, reaction time, even your metabolism, your hunger, your drive, all regulated at night. So ask yourself, are you giving your body the raw material it needs to rebuild? Or are you cutting it short because of late-night distractions that mean nothing in the long run? You don't need another podcast. You don't need more noise. You don't need one more update. You need silence, darkness, a room that supports deep restoration. You need to turn your nights into a sanctuary. Let others burn out, chasing stimulation. You choose regeneration. Because here's the truth. You're either breaking down or building up. There is no in-between. The undisciplined night weakens you. The structured night strengthens you. If you delay sleep, you delay your progress. If you protect it, you multiply your potential. It is that simple. The strongest version of you lives behind a night of deep sleep. Not just long sleep, but quality. Cold room. No light. No screens. A calm nervous system. A mind emptied out. This is how the body enters real recovery. This is how testosterone rises. This is how muscles restore torn fibers. This is how the brain washes itself, literally clears out toxins that build up during the day. And this process can't be rushed. It can't be cheated. It can't be replaced. You can eat clean. You can train hard. You can journal, meditate, plan, hustle. But if you neglect your sleep, none of it sticks. Because sleep is the glue that binds your effort into results. It doesn't matter how motivated you are. If your body is tired, your decisions are weak. Your clarity fades. Your habits slip. Your fire dies. And that weakness doesn't start in the morning. It starts the night before. You want a better morning? Fix your night. You want more strength? Sleep like someone who values it. You want to build? Then honor the window when your body actually does the building. This is your edge. Sleep is the edge no one talks about. Because it's not glamorous. It's not flashy. It's silent, private, humble. But it's where the real ones separate themselves. The average man uses his night to escape. The disciplined man uses it to restore. And the results are obvious. Because when one man wakes up confused, groggy, emotional, the other wakes up sharp, grounded, ready. The gap widens, quietly, daily, until one breaks, and the other rises. That's what night does. It divides the path. Every single night, you choose what kind of man you will be tomorrow. So choose well. Sleep early. Wake strong. Train hard. Recover fully. Repeat. This is the hidden advantage of the modern warrior. Not more hustle, more structure, not more noise, more silence. It's not about doing more at night. It's about stopping sooner, protecting the rebuild, letting the body do what it's built to do when you stop getting in the way. This is wisdom. This is clarity. This is discipline. Sleep is not escape. It is engagement with the process of becoming. You want better mornings? Better habits? More ambition? Cleaner thoughts? Sharper purpose? Then respect the night. Lay down your weapons. Let the rebuilding begin. Let the systems reset. Let the body remember who it is. And when you rise, you won't just feel rested. You'll feel rebuilt, recharged, realigned. That's the power of sleep. Not as a weakness, but as your edge. So tonight, be wise. Shut the world out. Let the body do its quiet work. And rebuild in peace. Create a sacred ritual. Not fancy. No hype. No equipment needed. Just intention. Each night doesn't need to become a battlefield for your will. It can become your sanctuary. Your act of self-respect. Your daily prayer. It begins with a room. Plush light or harsh glare kills rest. Replace it with darkness. Or minimal soft light. Candlelight or dim lamp. A space where the body and the mind can descend. No screens. No buzzing. No temptation. Just silence. The signal your nervous system has been craving. Safety. The signal your mind has been begging for. Structure. Cool air. Slight chill signals rest. The body lowers its core temperature to repair. Keep the room slightly cold. Comfortable enough to rest, not too warm to lull. A thermostat you can trust. A window open to fresh air. A simple alignment with nature's rhythm. A clean mind. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. You close the feeds. You stop the one more addiction. You let the mind unwind naturally. No chasing. No replaying. No rumination. You journal, not to write a story, but to empty your mind. To place the day's residue on paper. So your brain doesn't carry it through the night like an overburdened servant. You're not writing tomorrow's to-do list. You're settling today's account. You're asking, what am I holding? What must I release? A single candle. A simple flame. No scrolling. No signals. This is your new altar. Not to worship sleep as weakness, but to honor rest as power. Light the candle. Sit calmly. Then extinguish it. Let darkness replace distraction. Let closing a flame be a practice. Your daily truth. I'm done. My day ends here. No phone. Or at least off the nightstand. Turn it off. Airplane mode is progress. The blue glow you're tempted by carries noise. Anxiety. Chaos. It tries to steal your peace. Leave it outside this ritual. Allow the mind a chance to breathe. This is not weakness. It's strength. It's not deprivation. It's discipline. It's the practice of owning your environment instead of letting it own you. The sacred ritual runs like this. After dinner, no screens. Turn off bright lights. Breathe deeply. Journal anything that drags at your mind. Set the candle. Reflect. Extinguish the flame. Lie down. Each step sacred. Each step chosen. Not by accident. Not by fatigue. But by decision. Your body will feel it. Your mind will respect it. Your nervous system will reward it. You will rebuild trust with your sleep. Trust that rest is safe. That the night holds restoration, not regret. You're teaching yourself a new language. The language of calm. The language of closure. The language of rhythm. You're telling your mind, it's okay. I'm still here. I've chosen rest. I've earned it. The Stoics said, establish your interior citadel. Make a fortress of your mind. Your ritual is part of that fortress. Simple. So simple it's almost invisible to others. But powerful enough to transform fatigue into clarity. In darkness, the body recharges. In stillness, the mind sorts. In ritual, the soul resets. You don't crash. You choose calm. Imagine the man who does this night after night. No alarms. No apps. No distractions. Just ritual. Just respect. Just rest. His muscle recovers. His hormones balance. His brain cleans out toxins. His spirit grows. Men used to prize this. Nature's rhythm. Simplicity. Clean routines. They didn't need apps. They didn't need curated content. They needed rest, true rest. You don't need to stare at your screens, searching for answers in pixels. You need to look inward, to settle your mind, to build a ritual you respect. Every time you refuse your phone at night, you reclaim power. Every time you turn off lights, you surrender to order. Every time you journal, you release burdens. Every time you breathe in the dark, you reset your system. This ritual is not about perfection. It's about presence, about honoring the night, about treating rest as sacred. Because sleep is not just biological. It's spiritual, emotional, mental. If you treat it like a toy, you give it weakness. But if you treat it like your temple, even the night bows to you. This ritual says, my rest matters. My clarity matters. My recovery matters. The next day, you feel it. Not burned out, not dull, but focused, sharp, rising. You will wake with ease, not chaos. You will think with precision, not fatigue. You will act with purpose, not reaction. All because you built the night you needed. This is your practice, your daily reset, your altar of calm, a sacred ritual built in simplicity but crowned with power. Start tonight, not when the app tells you, not when the hype says cool, but when you choose it. Calm, clear, honorable rest. Because in the end, strength is not what you build in the day. It's what you protect at night. Better sleep is not just better rest. Better sleep is a life changed. Because sleep isn't passive. It fuels clarity, discipline, confidence, the very qualities that make your days purposeful and your nights peaceful. When your nights are spent chasing noise, your mornings echo it. Your mind is fogged. Your emotions are frayed. Your decisions waver. But when you sleep well, deep, unbroken, rhythmic sleep, you wake clear. You move intentionally. You carry presence naturally. Sleep fuels clarity. When you've rested deeply, your mind sorts itself. Thoughts untangle. Priorities shine. You no longer wander through tasks, you navigate. You don't second guess. You don't react. You choose. That clarity is your edge. It's your power. And it comes from a system that honors rest. Sleep fuels discipline. When you protect the night with respect, you honor your own boundaries. You show up true to your standards. You don't cheat your rest for distraction. When that discipline holds at night, it doesn't disappear when the world wakes. It becomes your default mode. Your will is stronger because you didn't let the night break you. Sleep fuels confidence, restores hormones, balances stress, strengthens the body, repairs the brain. When your body has rebuilt, your mind trusts it. You walk into the day knowing you have the energy, knowing you can think, knowing you can endure. That confidence, quiet, calm, earned, is a force. When those pillars stand, clarity, discipline, confidence, you begin to feel it in every moment of your life. You smile more, not from pleasure or distraction, but from stillness. Peace becomes part of your posture. It's not happiness that drives you. It's calmness. Real calm. That kind of calm comes only from truly resting. You react less. When stress comes, you don't stumble. You breathe. You assess. You respond with strength, not chaos. You no longer live in fight or flight. You live in presence. You lead better. Your life, your work, your relationships, they all run on better energy. Because you're not operating on white noise, fatigue, or emotional spikes. You run on restored power. Your presence commands more than your words. Because a rested man radiates competence. Marcus Aurelius wrote it bluntly. A man's happiness depends on the peace of his mind. Your mind doesn't find peace by force. It earns it through rhythm, repetition, restoration. That peace is not the absence of conflict. It's the presence of resilience. A man who conquers his night conquers his day. Better sleep leads to better mood. When you sleep deeply, your brain clears neurotransmitters that dull your emotions. You don't overreact. You don't spiral. You feel grounded, more generous, more content, not empty, but quiet, not thrill, but steady. Stronger life emerges when your decisions are clear, your body is rested, your energy is measured. A stronger life is not one with no hardship, it's one with resilience. A stronger life is sustained, not by bursts of motivation, but by the everyday momentum of a mind rested, a body rebuilt, a man aligned. But this only happens when you treat sleep as discipline, not indulgence. When you see rest not as a luxury, but as a necessity of self-mastery. Because a man who scrimps on rest scrimps on life. Every time you trade night for noise, you weaken your foundation. Every morning you wake up groggy, you start the day with a deficit. Your decisions lag. Your patience thins. Your motivation fades. You become reactive, not projective. You react to life instead of steering it. But when you honor rest, you don't carry yesterday into today. You don't drag fatigue into your focus. You don't excuse poor performance. You own your clarity. You commit to your calm. You step into the day with strength. Here's the truth no one tells. Sleep doesn't just rebuild what you lost. It magnifies what you have. Discipline becomes deeper. Confidence becomes grounded. Clarity becomes sharper. Your presence becomes your message. Your alignment becomes your path. Your choices reclaim their weight. Your life becomes something you don't fear waking up from. You embrace it. Yes, life will still have chaos. People will still disappoint. Money may still get tight. Your mission will still test you. Sleep is not magic, but it gives you the quiet fortress to face everything with a calm mind, intact focus, and grounded presence. This is how self-mastery looks, not in flashy hustle, but in disciplined rest, not in loud claims, but in silent restoration. Your night determines your morning. Your sleep determines your strength. Your rhythm determines your resilience. If you want better mood, better control, better results, you must respect rest. Better sleep is more than rest. Better sleep is alignment. Better sleep is self-mastery. And when you choose it, your deeper happiness is no longer dependent on external stress. It flows from inner peace, clarity, discipline, confidence. A better sleep gives you a stronger day. A stronger day gives you a stronger life. Because the man who rebuilds in the dark wakes brighter in the light. That is your path. That is your power. If you want a strong life, protect your sleep. Without rest, you fall. With it, you rise. These words are not cliches. They are commands, not suggestions. A strong life does not happen by accident. It happens by design. And the cornerstone of that design is simple: rest. You may chase ambition. You may chase success. But it all collapses without rest. Smart men know this. Wise men know this. Yet in a world that glorifies exhaustion, rest has become rebellion. Protect your sleep. Don't treat it like an afterthought. Don't see it as a reward. See it as a right. See it as your foundation. This means rules, not limitations, clarities. Cut the screens. Disconnect the noise. Dim the lights. Build a routine you respect. Because chaos is anyone's default. Order has to be created. The first step is radical, but powerful. Cut the screens. No more blue light before bed. No more mental scrolling for closure. No more argument with the silence. The screens are trained to keep your mind hungry, to harvest your time, to kill your clarity. Refuse it. Build that boundary. If you're tempted, move the device out of reach. Put away. Make it inconvenient. Because discipline is built in inconvenience. Clarity grows when the noise stops. Build a routine. That doesn't mean scheduling every second. It means consistency in actions that signal rest. Light reduction at sunset. Cooling the room. Journaling what's on your mind. Deep breaths. Simple stretching. Maybe a short walk. Ritual without drama. This routine isn't about acuity. It's about alignment. Body, mind, spirit all coming to a clear stopping point. Sleep early. Not when you feel like it, but because you chose the habit. Because the body and brain obey structure. There is no wisdom in late nights. There is no greatness in exhaustion. Sleep early and you wake clear. You wake confident. You emerge ready, not hungover on stress. Your willpower doesn't break because the day ends. It breaks because the night never began. Wake clear. This isn't just about getting out of bed. It's about rising into presence, into clarity, into discipline, into a day built on rest. Because without rest, you start slow. Notice it. You don't just wake tired. You wake reactive. You speak before thinking. You step into chaos before order. Rest resets that. If you want a strong life, protect your sleep. This is not weakness, it is strength. To say no to the world's late-night demands. To say yes to your recovery. To say yes to your power. Without rest, you fall. You trip over fatigue. You lose sight of your vision in a haze of distraction and anxiety. You become the tool of your own erosion, not the architect of your ascent. With rest, you rise. You emerge sharper than yesterday, more focused, more intentional, more able to carry responsibility with calm, more present in your relationships, your work, your purpose. Rest is not opposite of strength. It is prerequisite, because every system in your body, muscles, brain, hormones, immune function relies on it. And your drive, your discipline, your clarity all depend on it. If you don't rebuild in the night, you erode in the day. These are not suggestions. These are rules for men who choose to be strong. Cut screens. Build a routine. Sleep early. Wake clear. This is your ritual. This is your reset. This is how presence overcomes chaos. Because presence isn't found in chaos. It's built in calm. Be silent. Not because life demands it, because peace is cultivated. Be still. Not because you stop, but because you regain direction. Be strong. Not because you ignore rest, but because you honor it. This is Stoic wisdom. Real strength is built in quiet, not in hustle. Sleep is not an afterthought. It's a decision, a strategy, a fortress. So tonight, honor the night. Turn off the noise. Close the story. Let your arms carry you into rest. Accept what's necessary. Let the dark be deep. Let the sleep be sovereign. Because a strong life is not imposed, it's protected. Protect your sleep, and you protect your clarity, your discipline, your resilience, your peace, and the incomparable rise of a man fully recovered and fully present. Then you live well. Then you rise. Then you become the man capable of building not just a day, but a legacy. Be silent. Be still. Be strong.